Have you ever been in a predicament where you are so terrified that you have no idea what to do, even though you know what to do? Well, here's what happened to me. One day, we were in the kitchen. Welcome back to another one of Pixie's World. Oh my goodness, my hair probably looks a mess, but it happens. I was in the river today. Thunder was just rumbling, lightning striking, and people in the river. Rain falling to it, but we in the river. Can you believe that? Anyway, I'm here today to give you a little story. Imagine. Have you ever been in a predicament where you are so terrified that you have no idea what to do, even though you know what to do? They tell you, do this when you encounter this type of situation, but you forget in the heat of the moment. Everything that they teach you to do, whatever the case may be, completely disappears from your mind. Has that ever happened to you? Well, here's what happened to me. One day, we were in the kitchen and I cut off my finger. So we were in the kitchen. Now, where I went to school, practical classes were organizing and managing restaurants and kitchen operations, and I was in charge that day of cutting up particular food item for preparation for the guests to eat. But here's what happened. See this beautiful finger? I don't know if it will focus. Right here, I'm in the kitchen. Everybody's enjoying themselves. We all have our produce. We all have our knife set. We have our cutting boards, tables, souped up, everything. We good to go. It was really an awesome experience. And that day I was busy cutting, chop, 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 chop. Now, when you're cutting using a chef knife, you curve your fingers. You curve them in, as well as your thumb. You curve it in like this, right? You curve it. You hear me well? You curve it. Curve it. And the knife presses against this part. It's not really pressed, but it rests against this part of your hand. And you curve your fingers well. Curve them well. Now behind me. And you chop, chop, chop. And you move your fingers and your hand back gradually. But I don't know how I got distracted. But I got distracted. And I curved these fingers. But this finger stayed out like a sore thumb that it is. Well, it was at the time. And I cut it off. Right the tip, right there. Just snip, cut it off. Now when that happened, right, I saw a thing on the table. Now our nails are always supposed to be cut short as these. I have to cut those, don't want them as short as these. So this didn't even have a nail like it does now. I saw a thing on the counter and I'm wondering, what is that? And I noticed, wait, that looks like my finger. What? And when I looked at my finger, because you're hot, the body hot, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel pain, nothing. And the knife was that sharp that it just sliced through and I didn't feel a thing. I looked at my finger, all I saw was white. At the top here, all I saw was just plain white. And then it hit me, my gosh, you cut off your finger. Jesus, what the hell did you just do? So I took the piece of skin and flesh and nail and placed it in my hand, and I'm watching my thumb and I'm wondering, what am I supposed to do? Now, when these things happen, we simply just have to walk across to the first aid section, bandage it up, fix it, make sure it's not bleeding out, and then put on a glove and go back and do your work once it is the bleeding is controlled. But I looked at my finger and I looked at the piece in the palm of my hand, and I am shocked. I was frozen. I couldn't move. I didn't know what to do. I was just stuck. Then I called our chef, who was a lecturer. Called them and I said, chef, help. I don't know what to do. And then I just started seeing red. That is when trouble starts. All I saw was red, and to me, I was about to bleed out. I was so terrified. I'm looking at this and I say, chef, it's bleeding, and I have this in my thumb is in my hand with a piece of skin there, and I'm walking through the kitchen to make my way to the washroom at the back. And she said, come, just bandage that. You alright? She's so calm and collective. And I'm like, how can you be so calm and collective? I'm bleeding out. I washed my hands under the tap and I looked at my finger and I'm seeing this little, I believe it was a capillary after the fact. A little capillary pumping blood literally like this. I am seeing, and I'm saying, Jesus Christ, look at where I die. Look at where I die. All I was doing was cutting salad, lettuce, cabbage, carrot, tomato, salad. And look at where I die. I cut my finger and I bleeding out. The blood pumping and my heart racing because I don't know what to do. And I just see pump. I was so afraid. And the chef telling me, you alright, just wash that and bandage that. So she put a plaster on it, bandaged it up, and everything seemed okay. But I'm looking at this thing and gradually blood is just filling up the gauze and the plaster, and I'm starting to cry and I'm wondering what is going to happen next. What to do? I was just panicking, and in the back of my mind I'm saying, don't panic. If you don't panic, the blood won't pump as quickly and it will eventually stop bleeding. But in the front of my mind, oh my God, can you see what I'm seeing? But that wasn't easy. I don't know how long it took, but it took me quite a while for me to eventually calm down my heartbeat because it was racing and it was just pumping blood, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I cut a vein and look, I'm going to bleed out, I'm going to die in them people place, look at what I come there for. How? But I was okay. It took me a little while after the whole panic session to calm down, and eventually the bleeding cooled down. I was able to bandage it again, and ever so often I would remove, it was like a little cap on my finger, I would remove it to watch it clean my eyes because I was crying and the poor little tears falling off the eyes. And you know when you're crying and you're trying not to let the tears fall, so you blinking and you're trying your best for the tears not to fall on your face. Well, that's what happened. I'm blinking and I'm trying to watch, and then eventually it stopped the bleeding. The blood dried up. So when I got home, I just washed it off and I put a plaster over it. So every day I put a plaster over it. Every day I cleaned it and really took care of it. It took quite a while to heal. It probably took a week to cover back, but because it was cut so deep, the nerve ending was still not properly healed. So it took almost 6 months plus for me to stop feeling sensation in this part in here. I could literally just touch there, this part. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I could literally just touch it a little and I will feel the shock in my finger. So the nerves took quite a while to heal completely, and I could then operate like before. But it healed with a little bump, just to give me a reminder of what happened then and what to do and what not to do in the kitchen with a chef knife, a very sharp chef knife, mark you. After that experience, I couldn't do anything. Somebody had to take over my section of the meals that night and continue with preparations because I could not wear gloves. It was bleeding too much and I was afraid that I'd end up cutting it again or hitting it with the knife. It was so sensitive. But that taught me something. Curve the finger. Curve it when you're using this equipment in the kitchen. Sometimes you would feel, the thumb just can't rest there. Curve it, otherwise you lose it. I almost lost mine. Yes, ma'am. So that was my experience. I put the pictures there for you to see. That was, it was terrifying to say the least. But I got over it and I learned from it, and for sure, it's not happening again. So people, please be careful when you're operating in the kitchen. Please be careful with your equipment. Knives in particular, they are very, very sharp, and use them as instructed. So you have your cutting board, use it. Don't cut things in your hand because you will definitely cut up your hand. We don't want that. Remember, do not panic, because if you panic, you wouldn't think straight and you'll think the most ridiculous things ever. Okay, don't panic. Relax, calm your mind, and the thoughts will come through so you know exactly what it is that you are supposed to do, and then you will be fine. So remember, don't panic. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more or hear more about my experience when I was studying in Bahamas, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you ever went through something like this. You ever cut off your finger, cut piece of your hand, cut something or the other when you have been in the kitchen or you're playing chef. Let me know. Put it down below and we'll see. We'll chat. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do. Ring that notification bell so you can get more of my videos when I upload them. See you next time. Bye.